Welcome, friends. And it's the grumpy old man broadcasting from Studio B at WDWL TV, part of Grumpy Vulture Productions, located on Grumpy Vulture Boulevard. And if this goddamn vulture gets any more props, I'm going to rip out my hair. Although it's working its way there. Now, I realized one thing when I was editing yesterday. It wasn't the volume control of the microphone. It was the volume control of the asshole speaking into the microphone. Yeah. You don't stick your mouth on it. And I was like right up against it. So I have it set where I believe it will be just right. The screwy thing is, one notch really adjusts the volume. I mean, when I was doing a test afterwards, I went back 3 notches and it was so low. So I bumped it up 1 notch and it still seemed a little low. No, actually, I had it at 4 and I bumped it back down. And basically, I'm at notch 3 out of 10. That's how sensitive this microphone is. So if I don't yell my ass off, things should be okay. Now, we're going to start out with a pet peeve of mine that just fries my ass. And it happened when I was at the post office. There was this woman arguing about something. I wasn't paying attention, plus the argument had been going on before I entered. And she's in his face with her finger, telling him that he has to do what she says because he's a public servant. And friends, anyone that works in the public is a public employee. They're not servants. Servants are something that the king has over in the castle over in London. He has servants. We have employees. And you know, another thing that really pisses me off is when somebody will argue with a law enforcement officer and I pay your salary. You pay his salary? Does that mean you open your checkbook and you write him a personal check? Is that what that means? You write A personal check to him? Well, unless you are writing a personal check, you don't pay his salary. And if you use the excuse that I pay tax, well, everyone pays tax. So everyone pays a little portion of his salary. There are other things to take into consideration, like, state assisted funds or federal government assisted funds. So you don't pay their salary. And I'll tell you what, if you get stopped for a traffic infraction and you start with this, I pay your salary, you are guaranteed getting a ticket or getting arrested, depending on why you stop. Now, over the years, I've been stopped for doing stupid things. And I have discovered that the more polite and cooperative you are, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a warning. And every time, well, watch, I'm going to jinx myself, but every time I have been stopped, I was given a warning. I have not had a physical ticket, whether it be a traffic infraction or a parking infraction, since 1971. Because, first of all, I was always taught to respect law enforcement, mainly because my grandfather was a Cleveland police officer. So if you respect them and are polite, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a warning and be sent on your way. And with that, we're going to end that part of the segment. I'm going to do this story one more time because I know a lot of you are up to here with hearing. But I've been asked by a couple of people to explain why I do what I do. Okay? Back in 1971, I started working for Cuyahoga County Clerk of Courts in the Auto Title Division, which was at the corner of West 3rd and Lakeside. Now, a couple of floors up, was a Cleveland radio station. Wixie 1260 AM, and I can't remember what the FM station was at the time because it changed. But at that time, on the FM station, was John Lanning, who ended up working for 1057. And Lanigan had been there at that station since the 70s. Even before that, I can't remember when he started. And he had a special parking place for his Porsche. He had a Porsche at the time. And my break time was at 10:15. Well, John Lanigan would leave the station and go home at 10:15. And in the nice weather, I would be standing out in the smoking area, which was basically behind his Porsche. And I got to know him. He was one of the nicest guys on earth to talk to. If he wasn't busy and had to leave, he would chat with all of us. Well, I had gotten seriously interested in becoming a disc jockey like he was. And since he worked for the same corporation that owned the station, he said, well, some morning come in early and talk to Mike Ranieri, who was the morning disc jockey on 1260 AM. Because they have just got their accreditation from the national broadcasters to start a school. Cool. And it worked out perfect that basically I could go to school right after work because school started at 5 p.m. and I got off of work at 4:30. All I had to do is take the elevator upstairs. So I signed up for the school, paid, and at that time it was big bucks, $1,000. I wiped out my savings account. Paid $1,000, got a receipt, and we started classes. And the classes were in the studio. What is neater than sitting at the same console that Lanigan had been sitting at in the morning? And then on top of it, once we were like at the 6-month level, because it was a 9-month course. And then we would get our broadcaster certificate, which was accredited through the International School of Broadcasting from WIXI. But at the 6-month level, we actually got to go out to radio and TV stations. And I was lucky enough to be a booth announcer at one of the local TV stations. And there is nothing more boring than to be a booth announcer. Because every 30 minutes, red light would come on, you would open the mic, and you would give the time and the current weather and station identification. And then you would shut the mic off and sit for 30 minutes. And then the red light would come on. and you do the same thing. And this usually was from 6 p.m. to midnight. Well, as boring as it was, I was, as they say across the pond, over the moon, because I was at a TV station in Cleveland, and my voice was going out over the air into people's living room. And I never thought of it. I never got a recording. I wish I would have had a friend say, hey, turn your tape recorder on. But you sitting there watching TV during a commercial would hear me, the grumpy old man, which I wasn't a grumpy old man at the time, broadcasting over your television set into your living room. And then there were a couple of Friday nights that I got to do the midnight to 6 a.m. It was basically Friday night, midnight to 6 a.m. Saturday morning radio, which that was boring too because I didn't get to play what I wanted to play. I was given direction and a stack of records. We played records back in the day. And I was told at certain intervals it would be 2 in a row, 3 in a row, 4 in a row. And they were all sorted out. But it was my voice going out over the airwaves in Cleveland. People driving in their cars or sitting in their homes or at work were hearing me. I was the person, even though I was only talking for a few seconds. If I was playing 2 in a row, I would give, we're going to start out with X and we're going to finish with X. And that's all I did was just play music all night. It wasn't like I could give a commentary, my personal feelings toward the song. But I was sitting at a console where a licensed disc jockey was sitting. What is cooler than that for someone in their early 20s? Now, comes the end of the 8th month. 8? No, it was the 6th month. I take that back. I've told this story a dozen times. At the 5-month period, we did a month's worth of outside the class. At the end of the 6th month, now, we had already been signed off for our outside work because radio stations had to sign their sheet. We had booklets that were issued to us and station, time, day of the week, and then it had to be signed off by the engineer and the station man. And I had all my sign-on, all my ducks were in a row. the first week of month number 7, we were told the school is closed. What do you mean the school's closed? School's closed. Done. Quit. Finish. Kaput. What about our certifications? Our diplomas? Even though it wasn't a diploma, it was a certificate. A certificate that said we had completed our broadcast school and we were now certified to go out into the world. Too bad you're not getting it. What about a refund? Not. So we didn't get our certificate. And we didn't get our refund. I don't know what that was. So, the majority of us got screwed. There were a couple, and I stayed in touch with one fella that basically went over on Rockside. I think it was called the International School of Broadcasting at the time. Now it's like On Air Media or something like that, or Be On Air or Be On Air. It's a diversified broadcast and media school, but it's for broadcast. But at the time, I believe it was the International School of Broadcasting. It was over in Roxbury. A couple of the fellas really wanted to pursue their dream, like me, and they shelled out like $1,500. And they ended up getting their certificates, and the guy I stayed in touch with ended up in some real podunk towns. But that's the way it was. You weren't going out, you weren't going to be the morning drive guy or the afternoon drive guy. You had to make a reputation, and you had to develop your style. And he said, some of the stations he was at, one station was like in the middle of a 300-acre cattle ranch, because the owner of the ranch had bought the property surrounding the station. And there was like a mile-long road to get to the transmitter. The studio and the transmitter were all in the same, one and the same. Because he told me he'd made the joke after he was somewhat established. He says, is that my listening audience out there? Are there like speakers in the pasture? Because there were like 3,000 cows. Of course, that joke didn't go over very well with upper echelon, and he got moved around a lot because you're always looking to better yourself. But he said, he went from a rock station to a country western station, and then what? He was at a country western religious station. So you you, and 90% of the time, you were the midnight to 6 a.m. guy. But he finally built himself up. I think he had a afternoon drive radio position out in Omaha somewhere, but that's the way it was. You were like a military brat, every 6 or 8 months or a year or whatever, you went from one end of the country to the other. Because he had told me he was up in a station like up in Vermont that like the transmitter broadcasted like across the street. That's how low wattage the station was. He said he thinks he broadcasted like fishermen out in their boats. So when the occasion came up, and I discovered this thing called YouTube, I was like, you know what? I can fulfill my dream. I can be an on-air personality. Not so much TV, because I consider this TV. Although I could do an audio, I got a friend, his son could do me a website, and I could do an audio only. But this is the answer to what I lost out on in the 70s. And the nice thing about this is, I don't have anybody looking over my shoulder. Well, I got YouTube looking over my shoulder, but I don't have, the upper level echelon saying, you can't say that. You can't play that. Although with YouTube, you can't play that. I've gotten in some trouble for playing copyrighted music back in the day. My early days when, if you go back and look at some of the stupid videos that I did, but I was, as they put it, dipping my toes in the water. And in a way, I'm still dipping my toes in the water because, like with this setup I have now, over in the other studio, I've got the old school equipment, the mixer, the interface, the XLR microphones that only work with a mixer, not this plug and play. I mean, that's basically as easy as it is setting up a YouTube channel. You go on YouTube, you set it up on YouTube, and then you buy a microphone, you plug it into your computer, and it comes up in the drop-down box, and you click that microphone, and you're on the air. I don't have to go through a mixer. I don't have to go through an interface. I just plug this into the USB port. And that's how easy it is for me, the grumpy old man, to come on here and do bitch shit. Or tell sad stories. Or beg for subscribers. Yeah, I was begging for a while. Oh yeah. To get to number 30. And you know who you are, number 30. So does the grumpy vulture. And the grumpy vulture really likes you. Very rarely does the grumpy vulture give the happy thank you stinker. And you are the only one that has gotten that happy vulture stinker. Now, I should have done it, I should have had him up here every time I got a subscriber, giving people the happy vulture stink eye. But number 30, you were special because you were number 30. And every time I see you, I'm going to yell, number 30! Which means you probably won't ever sit on your front porch again. Going, oh my God. And you know what? I might even use my PA system and yell number 30 when I'm driving by. It would be nice this time next year to be thanking number 60. It just amazes me to look at some of these YouTubers and the amount of subscribers and some of the trash and filth that they put out on their channel. There's one guy, he's got 65,000. Not 65. 65,000 subscribers. And all he does is go around telling the cops to kick rocks and kiss his ass. He's utterly belligerent with it. And he's got 65,000 followers. Are there that many idiots out there that want to watch someone cuss out a police officer? But he does. And out of them 65,000, how many of them are paying a monthly subscription to his channel? Because once you reach a certain level of subscribers, you can request YouTube to monetize you, to pay you. And of course, they put commercials up. And then you can set it up where you can request subscribers to pay you. And they offer, maybe some merchandise now and then, or some special live streams that the average person doesn't get to see. And they charge anywhere from 99 cents to, I saw one, $11.99 a month. Who would pay $11.99 a month to watch some guy tell the police to go fuck themselves? Now, I'm sure it's not all 65,000 subscribers, but even if it was 5,000 at $11.99 a month, that's a pretty good income. Now, you're not tied into a contract, so you can't count on that amount of money every month. But I would say that they would be lucky enough to get at least 60%. And some of them, that's all their job is. They don't work. They go around with their camera and they make videos of them insulting police officers. But some of them get their asses arrested. But then when they get arrested, they go on and they beg for legal funds and bail money. And people pay to bail them out so they can watch some of this stupid shit again. I don't get it. Of course, they're a lot more interesting than listening to me. And believe me, out of I checked the algorithm, and out of, let's say, a 30-minute stream that I do, my average listening time is 3 minutes. 3 minutes. They click on and they go, oh, this asshole, click. Now, some people listen to the whole stream, but over a 30-day span, my average listening time is 3 minutes. Kind of sad. But hey, I'm living my dream, and I appreciate the 3 minutes because you've taken 3 minutes out of your time to watch me live my dream. At 72 years old, I finally got the Grumpy Vulture Productions certificate of broadcast. And here I am in the Grumpy Vulture Studios on Grumpy Vulture Boulevard. And like I say, if he gets any more kudos, it's going to be Grumpy Vulture, and the grumpy old man is going to come on and give the stick up. Although, I am going to do a weekly segment. I think I'm going to do Wednesday. And I'm going to call it the Grumpy Old Man's Dumpster Fire. And it's going to be probably up to 20 minutes, 30 is stretching, of a certain topic. Maybe current events or something I saw. And wait till you see the microphone flag that is coming. I got the mock-up today, and I approved the mock-up. And I just have to wait for it to be manufactured and sent. And it's a square one. You know, I've got or I should say it's a rectangle. I've got the little square one, and then I've got the triangle. This one's going to be a square. And wait till you see the layout. Like I say, they sent me the mock-up today. And it looked cool, and I approved it. And I said, go ahead, you got the 2 thumbs up. That'll probably be here at the end of the month. Because it's coming from Chennai. That's the sad thing. The one company here in the USA wanted twice the price for the same thing. For the same thing. Because I checked them side by side. Same material, same sign, same printing. The American company wanted twice the price. So I had to go with that. Because the grumpy old man relishes in buying American. But it's getting harder and harder and harder. And with that, I'm going to bid you a good evening. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. So take care, everyone. Thank you, friends, for listening to the grumpy old man tell his sad tale of woe. But I'm broadcasting. See you, bye.